Imagine a world, not too far from our own, specifically 2025, but with a chilling twist. Earth is under the complete occupation of extraterrestrial beings. These aliens haven't just landed, they've integrated themselves into our governments, subtly, or perhaps not so subtly, pulling the strings of power. One of the most visible signs of their control is the imposing 300-meter-high walls that now divide every city. These aren't just barriers, they are symbols of lost freedom, effectively turning once connected metropolises into isolated pockets. Humanity, in this new reality, is no longer the master of its own destiny, seemingly reduced to serving the aliens' unknown purposes. In this fractured world, the desire for connection and the yearning for loved ones persist. We meet Will, a man driven by a father's love. His son is trapped in another city, a consequence of the alien-imposed walls. Desperate to reunite with his child, Will turns to the shadowy underbelly of this new society, seeking illegal passage across the city lines. His attempt involves a clandestine journey hidden within a truck, concealed under layers of ice, a stark image of the desperate measures people are forced to take. But this perilous journey ends in a violent explosion as the truck approaches the boundary of the next city, detonated by a hidden bomb. Miraculously, Will survives the fiery wreckage, only to be immediately apprehended by the authorities, highlighting the iron fist of alien control. Meanwhile, in the confines of her own city, Will's wife, Katie, is engaged in her own struggle for survival. We find her at a hospital, desperately trying to procure insulin. This vital medication, along with others essential for human life, has been banned by the alien occupiers. Their cruel logic is clear. Only the physically fit are deemed worthy to survive in this new order. The implications are terrifying. Countless individuals requiring medication face a grim prognosis. Katie's desperation leads her to the black market within the hospital. In a tense exchange, she offers a bottle of alcohol, a valuable commodity in this restricted world, in exchange for the life-saving insulin. However, her hopes are dashed when she discovers the insulin she obtained is expired, a cruel betrayal in a world where survival is already precarious. Overwhelmed by anger and a sense of being cheated, Katie's frustration boils over. She pulls out a gun, a forbidden act under alien rule, instantly creating a scene of fear and panic. The presence of alien drones constantly monitoring the populace hangs heavy in the air, a silent threat that could end her life in an instant. As night falls, Katie returns home, her worry for Will growing with each passing hour. His absence is a heavy weight in the oppressive silence of the curfew, another restriction that keeps humans confined and controlled. Her anxiety is compounded by the unexpected arrival of her distraught sister. Her sister's news is devastating. Her daughter is gravely ill and desperately needs insulin. Katie's heart sinks. She has no insulin to give. In their shared desperation, the unspoken truth hangs between them. Will was their only hope for obtaining such necessities. Driven by love and a sense of urgency, Katie makes the dangerous decision to venture out into the forbidden night to search for him, risking the severe consequences of violating the alien curfew. Her search takes her to Will's old acquaintances, but none can offer any information about his whereabouts. As she makes her way back home, a sense of dread washes over her when she spots the ominous silhouette of a drone in the night sky. In a moment of quick thinking, she seeks refuge under a military truck, a stroke of luck that sees her safely past the watchful eye of the drone as it moves along with the vehicle. The following morning, fueled by a mother's unwavering determination, Katie resumes her search for Will. Her efforts lead her to a hospital, a scene of chaos and distress. She learns of a truck explosion the previous day, the very incident that Will was caught up in, and the hospital is overwhelmed with casualties. Seizing the opportunity amidst the confusion, Katie slips into the hospital storeroom and steals a supply of insulin, a desperate act driven by the need to save her niece's life. With no sign of Will, Katie turns to Bruce, an old colleague of Will's from their time working at the FBI. Seeing her palpable worry, Bruce offers a glimmer of hope, promising to help find Will. Meanwhile, Will finds himself in a bleak jail cell, his own anxieties mounting. He overhears other prisoners discussing their impending transfer to the aliens' factories, a place where criminals are forced into labor, a fate that could mean he'll never see his family again. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the arrival of police officers. Ignoring the other inmates, they single out Will and take him away. It turns out Will's past as a skilled FBI agent has not gone unnoticed. Will is taken to the Green Zone, a stark contrast to the oppressed cities. This is where the wealthiest and most powerful individuals reside, seemingly untouched by the restrictions that govern the lives of ordinary people. Here, alien control appears less overt, replaced by an alliance of convenience. Will is brought before a man named Snyder, a figure within the Los Angeles authorities. Snyder is well aware of Will's background as an exceptional FBI officer, a master at apprehending criminals, a skill that, ironically, has become relevant even under alien occupation. Snyder reveals his intentions. He wants Will to work for him. His target? The growing resistance movement, those who dare to rebel against the alien regime. In exchange for Will's cooperation, Snyder offers the protection of his family and access to the basic necessities that have become scarce in this new world. He even takes Will to a window overlooking a rocket launch, explaining that these rockets transport people to the moon, where the alien factories are located, a veiled threat of what could happen to Will's family if he refuses. Under this coercive pressure, Will is returned home by police officers. He finds Katie and others waiting anxiously. When Katie demands to know his whereabouts, Will offers a partial truth, saying he was searching for their son but was unsuccessful. He then reveals his encounter with Snyder, the offer to work with the authorities, and the implicit threat against their family. Katie's reaction is immediate and vehement. She refuses to countenance the idea of Will collaborating with the alien-backed authorities, declaring she will not be known as the wife of a traitor. Their heated discussion continues into the night. The following morning brings an unsettling surprise. Snyder himself is in their home, casually making breakfast. His presence is a deliberate intrusion, aimed at persuading Katie to accept Will's collaboration. He lays out the benefits: 24-hour security, guaranteed education for their children, ample food, good clothing, all the trappings of a comfortable life in this restricted world. He even dangles the possibility of reopening their local park, a small piece of their former lives. Katie is visibly conflicted. Will seizes the opportunity to press Snyder. Would he find their lost son? Snyder readily agrees to try his best. Faced with this promise and the weight of Snyder's veiled threats, Will reluctantly agrees to work for him. The scene shifts to Katie on a bicycle, arriving at a house where her friend Bruce and others are gathered. She reveals Will's decision to work with the authorities, a revelation that sends ripples through the group. We then learn a crucial piece of information. Katie is also a member of the anti-alien resistance, a rebel herself, a secret she keeps from Will. The next day, Will begins his work. His first assignment: to investigate the bomber who attempted to cross the city lines, the very incident that led to his own arrest. Meanwhile, Katie seeks solace in a bar, surrounded by reminders of her lost son, fueling her sadness. Bruce joins her, asking about Will. Katie evasively replies that it was his first day on the job. However, their conversation hints at a deeper layer. Katie is now positioned to potentially feed information about Will's activities to the rebel network, effectively making her a spy within their ranks. Will's investigation leads him to the young man responsible for the bombing. At the police station, he encounters an old FBI colleague who has been incarcerated for some time. The colleague pleads with Will to help him escape, to make him his companion. Will approaches his new boss, seeking assistance, but is flatly refused. He can only offer a promise to look after the man's family. Returning home, Will is met with an unsettling emptiness. Katie and the children are gone. His worry is palpable, until he finds them at his colleague's house, a temporary sanctuary arranged by Katie. Relief washes over him. He learns that his colleague's family was facing forced labor in the alien factories, their only hope for safety lying in new identities. Will takes them to a contact who specializes in creating fake documents, effectively erasing their past. Back home, Will informs Katie that he has apprehended the bomber. He outlines his plan: catch Geronimo, the leader of the resistance, and then, once Snyder delivers his son, he will leave this dangerous job. Katie listens intently, the implications of his words, the capture of a potential ally, weighing heavily on her. News of the bomber's capture reaches Alex, the leader of another rebel group. He reassures his comrades, stating that the captured individual was not one of their own, downplaying any potential threat. He intends to warn the other group. At the office, Will learns from his boss that the bomber has indeed provided information, leading to the capture of his entire rebel group. They are scheduled for immediate transport to the alien moon factories. Will's boss expresses her disdain for these seemingly inept rebel factions, highlighting the aliens' swift and decisive takeover of Earth's advanced security systems. She sees the rebels' efforts as futile and suicidal. Will is then taken to the site where the captured rebels are being held, a grim scene where many have already perished. The following morning, a new voice emerges on the airwaves. "I am Geronimo," the voice declares over the radio. "I am on a mission to save humans from aliens. Support me." His message resonates across Los Angeles. Tracing the radio signals, the police converge on the building from which the broadcast originated. The man behind the voice makes a swift escape. Simultaneously, at home, Will's son, Brian, retrieves SD recording cassettes and quickly hides them. The police find nothing. Katie, meanwhile, embarks on her first operation with the rebels. Their target: an authorities' food truck. During the operation, Katie's companion is injured. As she tries to help him, Bruce, another rebel, coldly shoots and kills the injured man. Katie is stunned by the brutal act, unable to comprehend Bruce's motive. Drones appear overhead, posing an immediate threat, but Bruce manages to conceal her. Shaken and traumatized, Katie returns home, gasping for breath. She retreats into a room, obsessively trying to scrub her companion's blood from her body, a desperate attempt to cleanse herself of the violence she has witnessed. The police, including Will, arrive at the crime scene. They identify the dead rebel, and in a chilling act of collective punishment, his parents are arrested from their home. In the crowd, Will observes Bruce, who discreetly informs Alex, their leader, of the arrest. Alex dismisses it, claiming the parents were unaware of their son's rebel activities, thus posing no threat to them. Immediately after, Bruce meets with Katie. She confronts him, demanding an explanation for killing their comrade. Bruce justifies his action by claiming he spared the injured man from police torture. He then reveals that the police have arrested the man's parents and suggests they need to learn what Will's investigation uncovers. In a separate narrative thread, Will's son, Brian, ventures through the alien wall with a friend, who reveals it as a passage to the other side of the city. Will's team conducts a raid, targeting the home of Katie's deceased partner. They discover a cache of rebel weapons he had left behind. News of this discovery reaches the rebel group, and they confront Katie, threatening dire consequences for her family if Will does not return the weapons. Katie's only concern is the safety of her loved ones. That same night, Katie's bar, reopened with Snyder's permission, is bustling with activity. Snyder himself makes an appearance, further fueling Katie's resentment towards Will for his alliance with the authorities. She urges Will to quit his job, but he refuses, stating he will continue until he finds their son. At the office, Will learns from his boss that the rebel presence in Los Angeles is not a unified entity, but a collection of disparate groups. His boss warns that if these factions were to unite against the governor, the resulting conflict would likely lead to the city's destruction by the aliens, endangering Will and his family. She emphasizes the importance of his continued support. Unbeknownst to Will, Katie is deeply involved with the rebels and is now enacting a plan. She sends her children away with their helper. Then, after turning on a street light as a signal, she breaks a wine bottle and sets a fire in her house. Feigning distress, she calls the police. Will and his boss arrive with the authorities to find Will's home ablaze. Will is bewildered, but his boss seems more concerned with the proximity of the fire to her own residence, much to Will's annoyance. Will's family is taken to his office for safety. His boss reassures Katie, stating that their well-being is now their responsibility and that their neighbors have been warned to ensure their safety. Katie is uneasy with this arrangement, realizing it will likely isolate them. After answering some questions, she leaves. Immediately, Will's boss summons him to her office and reveals the SD recording cassettes found in his son's room, filled with Geronimo's broadcasts. She advises him to handle his son and assures him she will not disclose this information. Will is deeply troubled. He confronts Brian, who remains defiant, expressing his support for Geronimo and showing Will a poster announcing a new broadcast. Will is at a loss for words. Katie meets with her rebel leader, aware of the group's animosity towards Will due to the seized weapons. They want him dead. Katie proposes a deal. The rebels are concerned about how the police are so quickly obtaining their information. Katie knows the source. She offers this knowledge in exchange for Will's safety. Alex agrees. Katie reveals that Will's boss, Phyllis, possesses a comprehensive database containing information on all of Los Angeles, allowing her to track everything. The following day, Geronimo's next broadcast airs. The entire city listens. As he delivers his impassioned speech, the police swiftly pinpoint his location, a library. They arrive just as he utters his final words. Now no one can stop the rebellion against aliens. He is arrested. Snyder is jubilant, believing he has captured the true leader. He informs the governor of his success. However, Will's instincts tell him that the real Geronimo would not be so easily caught. He voices his skepticism to Snyder, who in turn relays this doubt to the governor. Their investigation reveals that the arrested man is merely an actor, his broadcasted speech found written on a pipe. Will's boss then meets with Katie. She reveals her awareness of Katie's rebel activities and warns her that if she values her family's safety, she should support them, not the rebels. After leaving Katie's house, she returns to her own, where we see her husband for the first time completely paralyzed. As she speaks to him, Bruce suddenly appears. Recognizing him as a rebel, she calmly states she knows why he is there, but demands he kill her husband first, as he would not survive the shock of her death. Bruce complies. The next morning, the police are at her house. The name Geronimo is scrawled on a wall. Snyder is deeply disturbed by her death, recognizing her as a valuable asset, someone who understood the aliens and served as a crucial intermediary. He orders an immediate manhunt for her killers. The police round up numerous rebels. One of them reveals the location of a house in the Green Zone, the supposed headquarters of Geronimo's network. When they raid the house, they find many individuals all claiming to be Geronimo. All are arrested. Meanwhile, Brian, Will's son, has ventured through the alien wall to the other side of the city. He discovers an abandoned area now used as a warehouse, filled with the resources they lack in their own city. Back in Los Angeles, an announcement proclaims the capture of Geronimo's group. But Will knows Snyder is playing a game. His suspicions are confirmed when it becomes clear that the captured individuals are too naive to be the masterminds behind the rebellion. The governor, furious with Snyder's inexperience, threatens him, demanding the real Geronimo at any cost, using Will's son as leverage. Will receives a promotion, taking his boss's place. In the office, his colleague voices her suspicion that Katie is the spy leaking information to the rebels, though she lacks concrete proof. Will returns home and begins his own investigation. He notices a book in his daughter's hand, one Brian acquired from the other city. Brian lies, claiming he got it from a friend. Will visits Katie's bar, but finds no evidence against her, aside from the book. In jail, Snyder confronts the actor arrested as Geronimo. He offers him a deal: continue acting as Geronimo for them, and he will guarantee his safety and relocation to another city, with a large sum of money, securing both their futures. In the next scene, Snyder presents the actor in court. The entire city watches as the actor, playing Geronimo, is sentenced to death. The real rebel leader, aware of Snyder's deception but powerless to intervene, witnesses this injustice, an innocent man sacrificed for political expediency. Will, disgusted by Snyder's manipulation, confronts him, questioning the point of killing an innocent man. Snyder coldly replies that it was necessary to appease the public and buy time to find the real Geronimo. Will and Snyder proceed to another meeting. However, enraged by Geronimo's staged execution, many rebels are lying in wait. Bruce, disguised as a police officer, is among them. He shoots the real security officers accompanying them. Chaos erupts as the rebels open fire on Snyder's bulletproof car. Two rebels attempt to breach the vehicle. Will, using his own weapon, manages to turn the car around and speeds back to Katie's bar, bringing Snyder with him. Katie is furious, questioning why Will would risk his life for such a deceitful man. Will insists he cannot let Snyder die until he gets his son back. His phone not working, Will goes to a nearby phone booth to call for security reinforcements for Snyder. Meanwhile, Katie informs her rebel contacts of Snyder's presence at her bar. Katie engages Snyder in conversation to keep him there. Will returns and reveals a crucial piece of information. Geronimo is not a single individual but a collective identity, anyone fighting against the aliens. Katie pulls Will aside, urging him to prioritize his own safety if an attempt is made on Snyder's life. She pleads with him to not intervene if someone comes to kill Snyder, to simply save himself. But Will remains silent, his focus unwavering. Returning to Snyder, Will is told that his son has been found and is being brought to them. Just then, a knock on the door heralds the arrival of a police officer, Bruce, in disguise. Katie recognizes him and allows him in, leading him to the basement with a stern warning: nothing should happen to Will in any attempt on Snyder's life. Bruce offers no guarantees, hinting at Will's potential interference. Will, also aware of the policeman's arrival, suspects the truth. Katie tries to dismiss his concerns, but Will, convinced Bruce is a rebel in disguise sent to kill Snyder, secures all the bar's doors. Snyder, oblivious, reiterates that Will's son will soon be there, a statement that infuriates Katie, who sees it as continued manipulation. Unseen by them, the bar is surrounded by rebels. They attempt to force the doors, but Will's precautions hold them back. The situation escalates, and a frightened Snyder demands to know why the rebels want him dead, claiming he has never collaborated with the aliens and is merely following the governor's orders. No one listens. Will instructs Katie to hide in the basement with Snyder, intending to face the rebels himself. Suddenly, a smoke bomb is thrown into the bar, creating chaos and obscuring vision. Will shoves Snyder into a cupboard for safety. The rebels breach the bar. One points a gun at Will, but before he can fire, Katie emerges from her hiding place and shoots the rebel from behind. Will grabs a machine gun and chases the remaining rebels, who, hearing the approaching sirens of real police cars, quickly retreat. The police secure the scene and take Snyder into custody. Because both Will and Snyder recognize Bruce at the bar, an arrest warrant is issued. However, when the police arrive at Bruce's house, it explodes the moment they touch it. Bruce, a former FBI agent, had anticipated their arrival and rigged his home with explosives. To further the illusion of his death, he and Alex, his leader, stage the burning of a body in a car. During this time, Alex reveals to Bruce that Katie is a double agent, playing both sides. Meanwhile, Katie tries to contact the rebels, but, failing to reach Alex or Bruce, she secretly obtains information about a rebel meeting. Arriving at the meeting, she finds only Bruce. He confronts her, demanding to know why she killed their comrade. Katie reiterates her warning that Will must not be harmed, stating that the rebel was about to kill him. Bruce remains unconvinced. Katie leaves. Bruce then meets with another comrade, revealing Alex's order to kill Katie. However, Bruce admits he cannot bring himself to harm her, as she is his friend. Will, having conducted his own investigation, informs Snyder that they have identified Bruce. He reveals Bruce's background as a special forces operative and an FBI agent, emphasizing the difficulty of apprehending him. However, Will vows to capture him. In exchange for his efforts, Snyder shows Will a photograph of his son, found in a city near Los Angeles. Overjoyed, Will takes the picture home to Katie. Katie urges Will to trust her, warning him that Snyder is exploiting his desperation, knowing his weakness. She insists that Charles, presumably someone who can help them, should be arriving soon and pleads with Will to free himself from Snyder's grasp. Will acknowledges the truth in her words but feels trapped, his desire to see his son again overriding his better judgment. He promises Katie he will eventually break free. Will resumes his search for Bruce, examining fingerprints from Katie's bar. He finds Bruce's prints. He confronts Katie, asking if she recognizes the man. She initially denies knowing him, but when Will mentions Bruce has killed over 14 people, she vaguely recalls him visiting her bar once, mentioning living with his parents. The police begin investigating Bruce's parents' home. A mutual friend of Bruce and Katie approaches her. Distraught, Katie asks if Will has indeed killed so many people. Her friend confirms it but rationalizes it as necessary sacrifices for their cause. Katie reveals that Bruce had tried to kill her, but she was saved. Knowing Bruce's connection to her and the rebels, she informs him that Will has found his parents' address, warning him of the impending police raid. When the police arrive at Bruce's parents' house, they find it empty. Their investigation yields the same book Will saw at Katie's bar. They question Bruce's neighbors, one of whom is Alex, who vehemently denies ever meeting Bruce. Meanwhile, Snyder meets with the governor, who informs him that the head of the Pacific region, an alien authority, is coming to inspect Los Angeles, expressing his dissatisfaction with Snyder's handling of the city and revealing that everyone is aware of the dire situation, contrary to the rosy picture Snyder has been painting. Katie has distanced herself from the rebels, but they still need her access to information. Her friend tries again to recruit her, but Katie refuses, prioritizing her family's safety. Her rejection prompts Alex to retaliate. He orders someone to inform Will that Katie is a spy, leaking information to the rebels. Alex meets with Will, revealing his knowledge of Will's connections to the authorities. He offers a deal, a freedom pass to travel between cities in exchange for betraying his own rebel group. This reveals Alex's true motive, not liberation, but personal power. He is willing to sacrifice his followers for his own gain, his allegiance shifting based on opportunity. Will informs Snyder of Alex's proposition. Snyder expresses his desire to meet Alex personally. When Will returns home, he tells Katie everything, exposing Alex's self-serving betrayal. Katie is shocked and immediately contacts Bruce with this information. Elsewhere, Brian, Katie's son, is with his teacher, who has constructed a powerful telescope. Through it, they observe unusual activity on the moon's surface, clearly indicating alien mining operations. Based on Katie's information, Bruce confronts Alex, accusing him of betrayal and of seeking a pass for personal gain. Alex vehemently denies it, attempting to manipulate Bruce. The following day, Will arranges a meeting between Snyder and Alex. Alex confirms his need for a city pass and offers a list of Bruce's contacts, all rebels. He also reveals Bruce's next target, the Prime Minister. Snyder expresses his approval, promising the pass once Alex's information leads to the prevention of the assassination and public acclaim. Later, Bruce is on his mission, accompanied by Katie and her friend. When Katie spots nearby police, she alerts Bruce. Suddenly, a barrage of firecrackers creates a diversion, leading to police gunfire, in which Katie's friend is killed. Katie and Bruce manage to escape. Will arrives at Alex's hideout, just as Alex is preparing to leave the city. Will reveals that his deal with Snyder is off and then shoots Alex, intending to frame Bruce for the murder. Will's motive is now clear. He wants the universal pass Alex was meant to receive. That same night, Katie sees the horrific consequence of their actions. The entire family of her friend who died in the crossfire is found hanged in the city center. Devastated, Katie resolves to fully support the rebels, recognizing the authorities' utter ruthlessness. Will too understands the escalating brutality. The next day, a rebel protest erupts, turning violent when police attempt to intervene, resulting in the deaths of many officers. Will's colleague observes this and remarks that the people will no longer remain passive. Will approaches Snyder, informing him of another rebel group discovered on the other side of the Los Angeles wall, urging immediate action. Snyder agrees to send a guard with them. Meanwhile, Katie and Bruce meet with the leader of a youth rebel cell, who is eager to assist in the Prime Minister's assassination plot, planned to take place in the subway, now exclusively used by aliens and authorities. Will and his companion reach the other side of the wall. From a high building, they survey the empty cityscape and begin firing into an abandoned structure. The guard is perplexed. They retrieve a hidden map and return to Snyder. Will presents the map, claiming it was left by their attackers, indicating rebel targets. The youth cell members show Katie a small flying robot capable of collecting data. Bruce teaches Katie how to shoot, preparing her for a more active role. At home, Katie finds a propaganda book among her daughter's belongings, detailing the supposed benefits of alien occupation. She discovered it at a church, realizing the indoctrination efforts targeting children. She suggests to Will that they should leave for the other side of the wall, where his colleague's family has relocated. Katie confronts Will, questioning their ability to escape Snyder and the authorities. She expresses her exhaustion and despair, asking for a divorce, highlighting the web of lies between them. Will is shaken. He tells his companion to go on alone, his initial motivation of bringing his family with him now fractured. The rebel group infiltrates the subway via an emergency entrance and detonates an explosive, delaying a train. During the chaos, they capture an alien. News of the kidnapping spreads rapidly. The governor convenes a meeting with Will and other authorities, emphasizing the catastrophic consequences if the alien is not recovered, recalling the destruction of a city where 2 aliens disappeared. The captured alien is taken to a rebel hideout, where they begin to dissect it, hoping to extract information. Meanwhile, Will reviews subway footage and spots Katie among the attackers. But he keeps this information to himself. The authorities, in a show of force, begin bombing houses to instill fear. Snyder is fired for his failure to maintain control. He confronts the governor, who is powerless against the higher alien command. At the rebel hideout, they continue their operation on the alien. In his office, Will identifies the leader of the youth rebel cell through CCTV footage, deducing that the alien is likely being held at his house. In his office, Will identifies the leader of the youth rebel cell through CCTV footage, deducing that the alien is likely being held at his house. He goes there alone. He finds the rebels in the process of dismantling the alien. He tells them he is on their side and urges them to leave quietly before the police arrive, promising their safety. The rebels escape through a secret exit. Moments later, the police raid the house and find the alien. Snyder is reinstated due to the alien's recovery. He rewards Will with a universal pass. Will leaves the city to find his son. Katie returns to her empty house after her mission. The story concludes here.